Hello and welcome to the Property News here on Magic Bricks. Now, I'm Krishna Kumar. Let's take a look at the top stories that we're tracking. Sweet victory for home buyers. The centre's model sales agreement mandates timely delivery, allows buyers to stop payment in case of delays. Mumbai, you are stuck with pothole-riddled roads this monsoon. We learned that the new technologies that the BMC is experimenting with will be pressed into action only in the monsoon of 2017. That is a Magic Bricks Now exclusive. As you navigate these pothole-riddled roads, the Maharashtra government is proposing a new road safety cess, according to a bill that will be tabled in the Assembly on Wednesday. Citizens buying new cars would have to pay 1% or more of the cost of the car in taxes. Frothing toxic lakes are back to haunt IT city Bengaluru, and with no solution in sight for mounting garbage issues in the garden city, now citizens who fear an epidemic looking up to the government, they ask, when will authorities wake up? Let's kick things off then with our continued focus. Hope for home buyers stuck with project delays. The draft agreement for sale rules approved by the Minister of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation, Venkaiah Naidu, now gives more teeth to the Real Estate Bill 2016. Essentially, once the draft rules we're talking about gets implemented, developers will have to follow a very strict guidelines to deliver your homes on time. And this could very well be dubbed the beginning of the end of rampant project delays across India. What are the new set of rules that gives more power to home buyers? Here is a special report.
The home buyer has won. The government has acted on project delays. On the 1st of August, the Housing Ministry put out a draft agreement for sale. This is essentially the standard agreement that was promised to home buyers under the real estate regulator. These draft rules clearly mention that timely delivery of possession of the apartment or the plot is the essence of the agreement. Under the draft rules, developers will have to abide by strict timelines and indicate the date of delivery clearly in the agreement. If the promoter or the developer doesn't meet deadlines as laid down in the agreement, the draft proposes the buyer can stop payment. While now the onus is on the developer to deliver on time, the proposed draft rules also mandates allottees to ensure timely payments on their part. The new set of rules also sets clear guidelines for ownership. As per the proposed rules, the buyer can claim ownership of an apartment within 3 months after receiving the OC or occupancy certificate. Further, what comes as a big relief for home buyers is that the promoter now cannot make any additions or alterations in the sanctioned plans. Home buyers across India welcome the move to bring more transparency in the real estate sector, but there is a catch. For now, the draft agreement for sale rules 2016 will be applicable only for union territories. The draft is yet to be finalized though. Home buyers can access it on the Housing Ministry website and send in their suggestions and objections. These model rules can now be adopted by the different states across India. There is still no word from the centre on how soon these draft rules will be implemented in the union territories. Several industry experts hail these rules as the beginning of the end of project delays. Bureau Report, Magic Bricks Now.
So will it be the beginning of the end of project delays? To understand that, we have advocate Hemang Jariwala joining us here at Magic Bricks Now Studios. Mr. Jariwala, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here in the Property News and Magic Bricks Now. Tell us, would you say that this particular draft model agreement shows that the government has taken cognizance of all the rampant project delays across the country?
Yes, definitely, because in the past so many years we have been having project delays left, right and centers, and we've been seeing flat purchasers going on the roads, protesting against this, and also going to EOWs on the criminal side also to file cases against the builder developers where crores and crores of rupees of these flat purchasers are stuck and there is no construction, no possession in sight. And it was high time the centre has taken this right step, in the right earnest, and the model which has been come out, draft agreement, on the 1st of August is an excellent move, making the developer accountable to deliver the building on time, failing which giving the right to the flat purchaser to stop payment.
That's exactly what I want to arrive at, Mr. Jariwala. The model agreement empowers home buyers to stop payment in case of delay on the developer's part. How significant is this?
It is absolutely significant because in the past there has never ever been any agreement which empowers the flat purchasers to stop making payment. The developer may default, right? He would not complete the slabs or the building as
But
promised.
the payment always goes through.
But the payment had to go through, and in case the flat purchaser could not give the payment or send letters asking for the construction, at what stage the construction is, and thereby withhold payment, he would be, slapped with interest, and thereafter the builder developer would unilaterally terminate the agreement and forfeit 5 to 10% of whatever the amount the flat purchaser would have paid them.
Tell us, Mr. Jariwala, will these provisions then be deterrent enough for defaulting developers? At the end of the day, all these regulations, need to make sure that, developers are accountable. But do you think this is good enough to make defaulting developers, deter away from their path that they've gone on so far?
If you see the RERA Act, the RERA Act is a very, very balanced act which is been passed by the center, giving good developers and builders an opportunity to come clean and to deliver whatever they have promised to the flat purchasers, and also to the flat purchasers equal opportunity, to come at a parity level with the developers, that if you have a certain right, then now we also have a right, to stop payment, to go to an authority, to complain about you, and also make you accountable to pay 10% of the total cost of the project as fine if you want to save your neck from going behind bars.
So, that one particular clause in terms of stopping of payment should be good enough, hopefully, for, developers who give a delayed delivery to deter away from that. But tell us, Ms. Jariwala, states have been given the option to choose whether or not they want to adopt the model agreement. How hopeful are you that this will be followed to the T?
See, I would be very hopeful in the sense that this is the first time that not only the center has, passed the law, the provisions of law, but even the rules have been done. Now the center is taking additional interest by even drafting the agreements and giving it to the state that this is in the interest of the flat purchasers. And in my personal experience, as regards if you're talking of Maharashtra already had Maharashtra Ownership of Flats Act 1963. Form 5 had a draft agreement which was protecting the flat purchasers, though it was not being followed by the developers. And the option in that was to file a criminal complaint, where very few flat purchasers would go to a criminal court to file. But in this case, under RERA, this agreement is what I think the state would welcome and try to implement to the T, because the state does not want to go into issues which would be having projects which are delayed or illegal constructions coming up, and thereby again the flat purchaser would be in a mess.
All right, Mr. Jariwala, we will let it go at that. Advocate Hemang Jariwala, thank you again for taking time out to be this here on the Property News on Magic Breaks Now. Moving on. Mumbai did not expect any relief from potholes this monsoon. The new technologies that the BMC is reportedly trying out, the companies they are vetting will be pressed into service next year or in the monsoon of 2017. For now, all Mumbai can do is wait for a sunny spell when the BMC can carry out its patchwork repair on potholes. My colleague Disha Shah gets us this exclusive report. Take a look.
Potholes are back with the rains in the city of Mumbai. In fact, the number of potholes has increased from 142 what it was on Monday to 185 across the city of Mumbai due to heavy rains. In fact, right now also you can see I am here standing at the CST. This is one of the busiest roads, and in fact this particular road area is very close to the civic body, BMC's office as well. In fact, to tackle this pothole issue, BMC has hired two companies on a pilot basis who are currently fixing potholes with patented mixtures which they have guaranteed will remain only for 40 days, which means that there is no company who can give a permanent solution to this pothole problem in the city of Mumbai. In fact, they have already started experimenting in areas like Andheri, Sion and Kurla, and BMC is going to try and test this for another 15 days from now, and only after this they will finalize and shortlist one company who will basically repair the pothole going forward in the city of Mumbai. But BMT officials tell Magic Bricks now that for this new technology, Mumbaikars will have to wait for another year, as the one company which will be shortlisted will be deployed only next year. Remember, 185 potholes are yet to be repaired in the city of Mumbai. So clearly, there seems, going by the looks of it, there seems to be very little or no relief for Mumbaikars this monsoon. This is Isha Shah for Magic Bricks Now.
Now, while there seems to be little hope for Mumbaikars this monsoon for motorable roads, now the government plans to tax citizens for road safety. The State Transport Department is now mulling a 1% cess on the cost of new vehicles for a road safety fund that will be used to curb accidents across Maharashtra. My colleague Ruchi Deshpande gets us more details on this new initiative.
In a move that could mean costlier vehicles for you as a new consumer, the Maharashtra government's Transport Ministry is planning to present a proposal for levying a new kind of road cess or road tax. Note that if it is implemented, then this will be applicable on all those who buy new cars, and they will pay for it during their registration process. Now, sources from the Maharashtra Transport Ministry tell Magic Bricks Now that the reason for them imposing this road safety tax, which is yet to be implemented, is still in proposal stages, is that they will use this for ensuring better road safety of the citizens. They will use this for installing CCTV cameras on the signals, for better signaling systems, as well as training the public transport drivers who drive the public transport buses. Now, while they are looking to generate a revenue of 250 crore rupees through this cess if it is implemented. Now, while they haven't decided on the amount of cess or the tax that will be levied on the consumer, the Maharashtra government sources do tell Magic Bricks Now that they are looking at an upward revision of it, and it will be tomorrow that this proposal will be presented by the Transport Minister of Maharashtra, Diwakar Raute, before the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly.
Now, we also caught up with some Mumbaikars and asked them what they think about this brand new proposed tax. Take a look at what they had to say.
I am not at all in favor of this one because we are end up paying in hell of a taxes. I am not at all in favor of that safety tax. These are just exaggeration, nothing else.
Well, I don't think it's justified because, as it is, we are paying a lot of taxes. The roads are bad, the safety is really bad. You never know who will come up on the road when. There's not enough traffic police to man the roads. On top of that, bad condition of infrastructure. So I don't think 1% tax will make a difference. It will rather put some additional burden on people. So it's not justified at all.
There are a lot of taxes and cess which have been imposed on the common citizen. We had first what we call education cess. Now there is Kisan cess. There would be now road cess, safety cess. I don't know how many cess and taxes the government will impose. We don't have any problem in giving this kind of taxes or cess to the government. But will the government assure that the benefits and facilities are provided to the citizens? That is the question.
Already वैसे भी टैक्स तो भरते ही है, फिर तो नहीं, wrong है ये.
100% it is a problem, for a common person like us, who are basically representing a middle class and surviving on our salaries. Definitely it's an extra burden on us, 100%, I agree on that. But as I said, if it's been used for the right purpose, for the right reasons, we don't mind paying for it, because at the end of the day we are facing the problem for the potholes problem and all the water logging which is happening. If government is assuring us and taking the guarantee that they will use it for the right purpose, then I'll be more than happy to pay for it.
And to take the story forward, we're now being joined by environmentalist Gotham Keith, fellow at Observer Research Foundation, joining us on the phone line. Gotham, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the Property News and Magic Bricks. Now, my first question to you is it fair? Why should any Mumbaikar pay this particular tax?
So, thank you for having me on. There is an urgent need for reform in road safety. We have to acknowledge that we are losing a lot of lives on the road. A lot of these accidents are preventable. A lot of the deaths which occur, especially in this golden hour, that is 1 hour after the accidents, a lot of lives can be saved, lives which are being lost today. So yes, definitely let's acknowledge to begin with that it's a very serious issue. Now, whether this 1% cess that's going to be levied or this tax that's going to be levied is the solution or not, I am not in a position to comment whether this 100, 200, 300 crore of rupees that's generated every year is going to be the difference maker or not. But I would be very skeptical in giving it a yes. And I say this for the following reasons. So there is already a significant budget, a significant expenditure on these heads. And we need to analyze whether this is being spent judiciously, whether it's being spent well. Mantralaya needs to take notice of just outside its own gate at Marine Drive, the signaling systems are wrong. Pedestrian crossings are very poorly designed. This is the most important road in the city, and they've got it all wrong, including the crossing for handicapped persons is wrongly installed. When we are making such basic blunders, can we justify expense at the cost of the exchequer?
Now, I have a very simple question to follow up. Shouldn't the government levy this particular cess, instead from contractors whose roads have potholes?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, there's no vigilance that's happening there. I mean, the discussion now has been going on for months. So certainly, that was exactly the point I was making, that there's so much harakiri with the money that is already allocated for this. That's where we should be looking. And then if there's a genuine need, then the citizens will be willing to pay. Don't take Mumbaikars for fools. They are happy to pay for their safety, but they know, and they are very concerned, and there's a big trust deficit whether the money they are paying for this
is absolutely
the right purpose or not.
Absolutely. There is a trust deficit, Gotham. That's why, I want to ask, the government says that they will monitor the end use of the 250 crore rupees that they hope to collect through this particular cess. How do you suggest this be done?
Well, it depends on what their priority areas are. Once those are clear, we can understand.
Okay.
So, whether it is, say, for example, where it's going to be used. Is it going to be used predominantly on state highways? Then the expenditure has to be under different heads. If it's going to be used within cities, it's very different. For example, the number of lives we lose because ambulances don't reach on time, or, that golden hour is lost, is really critically important on highways. Look at the National Highway 17, Mumbai-Goa road. It's a hotspot for accidents, And if it's going to be spent towards medical, facilities, first aid facilities, emergency cardiac ambulances, things like that, then, maybe in part it's justified.
All right. Gotham, I'll ask you one last question before letting you go. Now, this is a draft. They will have to take suggestions. What would you suggest be incorporated into this to actually make, a commuter's drive home smoother and safer?
Well, to be very honest with you, I am not somebody who's an advocate of incentivizing the purchase of cars by end users. I'm sorry, I cannot contribute in any other meaningful way, but for me, the disincentive to buy a car is a good thing, provided there is an equal incentive to travel by public transport, and the facilities of public transport gets better and better over the years. In my book, something that promotes public transport is the solution. No amount of investment in roads is going to give you solutions to traffic woes, is going to give you solutions to accidents, is going to give you solutions to the issues.
All right, Gotham. Absolutely. We finally turned the gun back on the commuter, saying that why do we need so many cars on the roads in the first place? On that note, we will have to let you go. Gotham Keith, thank you so much for taking time out to be this here in the Property News on Magic Bricks Now. Moving on, Delhi's killer pothole saga continues. Just days after a pothole in the national capital claimed a life, Magic Bricks Now did a ground check just meters away from the pothole that killed Praveen Kumar. We found another unattended killer pothole. In fact, the pothole in question is now putting children at risk. Residents have written asking the government to take action, but politics over pothole continues. The government blames the traffic department while cops say no wrong has been done. My colleague Deepa Rana files this report meters away from the pothole that killed Praveen Kumar. Take a look.
As you see, 3 days after an accident took place in Vasant Kunj, it is still that the citizens have been writing to the Delhi government asking for any kind of action on the open drains, on the open potholes in the Vasant Kunj area. But till now, the Delhi government is yet to respond. We also tried to reach out to the Delhi government to get their response on this particular drain and pothole, which is not very far from the Nelson Mandela Road, an arterial road in Vasant Kunj, which leads to a lot of other places. But till now, we haven't got a reply from the Delhi government as well. The question is that is the Delhi government really doing something on ground, or is it once again, only promises which we have to rely on? And how many citizens have to lose their life for the government to actually learn their lessons. This is Deepa Rana reporting for Magic Bricks Now in Vasant Kunj.
Just now you have seen this big drain, and near to this drain there's a one school, public DPS public school. So many school children pass from here, and on the right side just in front of this nala there's a one big park. This is called Vatika Park, and all old people, senior citizens come here for the walk, and this work is going on and there's no barricade here. Anybody can fall inside, and after such a bad incident happened few days back in front of a Vasant Square mall, but nobody is taking care of,
We have talked to the engineers also and the contractor also, but they're not bothering at all. They're not at all bothered about the problems that we have been facing. This is the problem.
See, digging was not to be done in monsoon. There was a complete ban on digging during monsoon. Unfortunately, government has given go-by to its own order, and entire this area has been dug up. And without any barricading. I had been writing to the Minister for PW, Stender Jain. I had been writing to the Chief Minister. I had been writing to the PWD. You see the condition today. The other side we have Vasant Valley School. There is so much of traffic on this road, and there is anything, anytime can happen. Government has not learned any lesson even till today. Yesterday also I spoke to the Chief Engineer PWD. Today morning I have sent them another email that what is this nonsense? Why don't you wake up after that incident? But till now there is no action, no reaction from any of the officers of PWD or Delhi government.
On the Urban Debate tonight, we ask how many more people have to die before the authorities wake up and take responsibility for the mess on our roads.
PWD को किसकी permission लेनी है? Minister is lying blatantly on TV, blaming it onto the Delhi police.
Solution नहीं, किसी भी state government ने इस problem की solution नहीं.
All these political parties and their corporators are well aware of this fact that by taking corruption money and kickbacks from them, they are providing substandard facilities to the people.
We are governing worse than the Britishers for doing a very good job.
Policy for pothole repairs, that should be uniform. I mean, it should be implemented in proper manner and with the system.
It's adding so much of stress for every Mumbaiker, for every Indian's life, as if we do not have enough stress already.
ये इतना बड़ा गड्ढा है, ये बारिश से थोड़ा ही गड्ढा हो जाएगा, ये तो पहले से ही गड्ढा है. आज मेरा बच्चा गया, कल किसी और का भी जा सकता है.
Are you watching The Urban Debate? Only on Magic Bricks Now.
On to the latest in the Pune building collapse case. The PMC has issued a stop work order for the construction sites being developed by the Srinivas Pride Purple Properties, developers of Park Express. The civic body has also cracked down on the architect and the engineers of the building. Ruchi Deshpande gets us more details in this report.
In the latest development to the 14th floor slab of the under construction Park Express building in Pune's Balewadi area, sources from the Pune Municipal Corporation tell Magic Bricks Now they have now issued a stop work notice to the construction firm undertaking this project, as well as the architect and the structural engineers involved in this process. Note that they have also suspended the registration of the structural engineer as well as the architect involved in this project, so that all the other ongoing projects that they are involved in do not face the same fate and are not affected. What the Pune Municipal Corporation is also planning to do is order an inquiry and take a survey of all similar buildings in across the city of Pune to ensure that this incident doesn't happen with anyone else. They also said that this inquiry regarding this particular project is set to last at least 15 days from now, and since they have already issued a stop work notice, they will follow up on this and see if it is being followed, or these people will face permanent suspension from the Pune Municipal Corporation. Note that Park Express had sanctions from the PMC only up to 12 floors, and they did not have sanctions for the slab of the 14th floor that collapsed on the 29th of July.
From Pune to Bengaluru, where the rain might have subsided, but the froth in Bellandur and Vartur lakes continue to worry residents in the area. Experts believe that this time around, the height of the froth has only risen. Meanwhile, garbage woes in the city of Bengaluru is back to haunt citizens as well. On Magic Bricks Now, we ask, what is the government doing to address this issue? Amita Balachandra joins us with more details on that front. Amita, I know with every passing day, your hometown seems to be producing more and more bad news. Tell us, how bad is it this time around?
Well, it's very clearly bad, Krishna. In fact, I'd like to list out a list of promises that the government made just a couple of months ago, like scientific waste processing plant, waste to energy plants, and about 7 sewage treatment plants were supposed to be set up, and none of that has been delivered as of now. When we contacted the civic body BBMP, they told us that in about 5 to 6 months, LTPs or leachate treatment plants in every garbage, a garbage treatment plant will be set up in the city of Bengaluru. Now, there are about 7 scientific processing units in the city of Bengaluru, and each of these units will have an LTP. Now, leachate is nothing but a chemical-like substance where you have, ammonia and other contaminants, and these things will be processed, and then the leachate will be used for several other things like washing and industries, etc. So right now, what the civic body has proposed to do is to set up 2 LTPs, one in Chikka Nagamangala and the other one in Kanahalli, and both these LTPs will be set up within a span of 5 to 6 months is what we're learning. We're also picking up that the rest of the LTPs will be set up over the next couple of months post setting up these 2 LTPs. Of course, the LTP issue, of course, has not gone very well with residents of both these areas. That's one. What we also picked up is that there are several landfills that have been shut down, and there are 3 functioning landfills in the city of Bengaluru. But what's interesting to note here is that 2 more landfills have been proposed by the civic body BBMP. One in Mysore Road, interestingly, which is a hot property market at this point in time, and there is also Devanahalli. Both these areas will have 2 landfills. Of course, that's something that we'll get more information on in just a couple of days. That's one. Now, that's regarding the garbage. But when it comes to Vartur and Belandur lakes, of course, the situation has only gotten worse at this point in time. Residents have been complaining of increasing height of froth at this point in time, especially after the rains. And 2 immediate solutions have been proposed by the expert committee that's been set up. Interconnectivity among lakes will be re-established, and the number of outlets in Belandur and Vartur lake will only be increased. Of course, setting up an STP or sewage treatment plant in this area, that will take some time, and that's a long-term plan. Right. But there has been a report that's been drawn up by this expert member committee, and they will submit it very soon.
All right, Amita, for the sake of the wonderful city of Bengaluru, I hope all the, corrective measures that you mentioned get implemented more importantly. But thank you so much for bringing us that detailed report on Bengaluru. And with that, it's a wrap here on this edition of the Property News on Magic Bricks Now. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Bricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.